Hi everyone, my name is Sankey. Firstly, I want to start by thanking everyone who continues to watch my videos and support my channel. I really appreciate it, really appreciate all the subscriptions and so on. It's been a while since I posted any videos, so today I'm excited to be uploading a two-part lesson which uses a 12-bar riff to bring together this idea of using single notes along with octaves to produce a riff. This idea of some timing variations, but the two main things that I want to focus on in the lessons is this idea of the intentionality around your bending and also how you're hitting those single notes, this idea of mixing lip pursing and tongue blocking, or tongue blocking from both sides, using both sides of your mouth. And this riff is a really good way of working on that. It's kind of aimed at intermediate players, but hopefully advanced players also find some ideas or things to kind of think about or refine within their existing technique. I'm going to go through the first part of the lesson, breaking things down as normal, but then I'm going to follow up with a second lesson where I'm going to add some additional twists which will give you some additional things to work on and think about. I'm going to be using a C harmonica in the key of G, so we're in cross position. So let me play through the riff and then we'll break things down and I'll pause and talk about the individual things to think about, okay? Sounds like this. Okay, so that's it. So, what am I playing there? So the riff, as you can hear, is comprised really of two parts. One is a kind of opening phrase of single notes, followed by a kind of response using split octaves or split intervals. So the opening phrase kind of anchors everything and kind of repeats or opens each sort of phrase, all right? This sounds like this. Okay, so what am I playing there? So draw one, the blow two, the blow three, the draw three, half step bend, and then resolving onto the draw two, all right? So I suppose one thing to draw your attention to is I'm playing the blow three instead of the draw two as part of that. So draw one, blow two, blow three, draw three, half step bend, draw two. I'll come back to that bit in a second. But just to complete the riff, then I'm going up and playing the blow six octave and then going on to the draw five interval split with the two. So it sounds like this. Okay, common kind of sound. But this riff over the one chord we play 4 times. So to get a bit of interest in there, I'm sort of varying it with another version which goes blow 6 octave, draw 4 octave onto the draw 5 interval split. This. So it sounds like this. So across the one, I'm alternating between those two. So that's the kind of one chord and the anchor. So the first thing I want to sort of pause and talk about is the opening part of the phrase. Now, you can obviously play that riff lip pursed and it's totally fine. However, you will have to tongue block in order to produce those kind of split effects. And I have a video on that, and lots of other people on YouTube will also have videos explaining how to produce those kind of octave sounds. Alright? However, I tongue block pretty much everything. So the way that I hit that opening riff is to either tongue block or lip purse that draw one. Then I tongue block from, I should say, I play upside down. So this is why the honer is the wrong way up. So it's not the image is reversed. I play upside down with the low notes to my right. So when I'm tongue blocking, my anchor position is to tongue block on the right side and the air travel down the left. So I will lip purse or tongue block that one, and then I will tongue block the draw two, the blow two, the blow three, the draw three half step bend, and the draw two, tongue blocking from the right. And then I will flick the tongue up to do the octave part. Now as a lip purser, you can play that riff, or as I said, lip purse, and then throw the tongue out to do the octave split. So that's cool. But the other thing that I sometimes do is, because you've kind of got these two, the riff has got these two parts, and the parts are operating in different parts of the harmonica. I sometimes, with riffs like this, I'll tongue block from the other side of my mouth. So I'll tongue block on the left and the air travelling down the right on the lower part of the riff, and then tongue block the splits focused really a little bit on the other side or more central. But the effect is, it's almost like you've got the tongue acting like two different hands, your right and left hand. So that would sound like. Right, so I can play that riff, tongue blocking from the left, tongue blocking from the right, or lip push. All right, and I generally tongue block from the right, but I wanted to give you some insight into the different variants and how I might approach this riff. So that's the one chord, and like I said, think about using tongue blocking from the other side as a more advanced player, but you can lip purse it as well. And then obviously you need to tongue block to do the octaves. The other thing to say about this riff is, obviously you can play it at different tempos, okay? So you can play it like more upbeat, so. You can play it, slower, as a kind of slow blues. You can also add a tongue flutter on that draw 5 split as well, especially in a kind of medium tempo song, to give another bit of sort of spicing or flavour. So it's this sound. So you can go. Right? So, and you can also do that if it's a bit faster. So, then we get to the 4 chord. Now the 4 chord has the same opening riff up to the draw 3 half step bend, but then we go to the blow 4. Let me just play it to break it down. So on the 4 chord we play the riff twice, and we have a slight variant. The first one, I go the blow 4 twice, which you can play as an octave split or with a single note. Then the draw 3 twice, and on to the draw 2. The second time I play the riff, I extend the notes, so I'm not doubling them. So I push that blow 4, then the draw 3, and onto the draw 2. It sounds like this. Okay. So the 4 chord with those things together sounds like this. And then you're back on to the 1 chord, which we'll play twice. Exactly the same as we do at the start, but half the length. Then we get to the 5 chord. So let me just play through the 5 chord and the 4 chord back to the 1, and then I'll break down the notes. So it sounds like this. So the notes there, this is really where I want you to think about this idea of the intentionality of your bending, all right? So what the notes are is you've got the same opening phrase, draw 1, blow 2, blow 3, draw 3, half step bend. Then what I'm doing is I'm playing draw 3, no bend, across to the 4, draw 3, no bend, and then draw 3, whole step bend, all right? So those are... Now, when you're playing those notes, you can either play them and treat them as separate notes where to move to the next note, you don't bend the preceding note upwards or downwards. So there's no pitch variation. So think of it like a piano, all right? So you're going... Or you can bend the notes up and slide between them. But I think often harp players, we forget about what we're doing around the bends, and are we playing notes, or we're lazy on certain holes like draw 4, draw 3, draw 2, where we have a lot of bending options, where we're not deciding subconsciously or consciously to play those notes with either pitch variation or treating the different intervals as separate notes. And this part of this riff is a great way of thinking about that. Are you going to take that half step bend, draw 3, and bend it up to the draw 3 so you can hear that rise? Or are you going to treat it as 2 separate notes? It's really to think about that. Same on the way down. Separate notes, or you can hear the pitch difference. Then we move on to the 4 chord, which again has the same opening riff up to the draw 3, half step bend. Then we go blow 4, draw 3, half step bend, draw 2, whole step bend. And that ending note of that draw 2, whole step bend, the 7th, is a nice counter phrase to the draw 3, whole step bend. And it's an interval that Sonny Boy Williamson II uses quite a lot. So once again, it's the 5 chord and the 4 chord together. Once more, sorry. And then you're back onto the 1 chord. So in there we've got various things to think about. Hopefully it's just a cool riff to play around with, but you've got this idea of getting some variation with using the octave splits. You've got this idea of how are you hitting those bottom notes? You know, are you lip pursing? Are you tongue blocking them? You can tongue block from either side of your mouth, and that can be a nice counterpoint to hitting the octaves. And then really think about on the 5 chord how you're hitting those notes. And the way I'm hitting them here is to treat them as individual notes with no pitch variation between each note, okay? So once more, let me just play through the riff just to bring all those ideas together. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. I'm going to upload part 2, which will then add a couple of twists, some other things to think about around this idea of switching sides for tongue blocking, and also to add a little ending in, okay? And I hope you found it useful.